Good morning. Happy Monday. Taking a live look outside downtown Denver, sitting at 61 degrees right now. A lot of clouds out there to start your morning, and it is humid. And today, not warming up too much. It's going to feel a little bit more like fall this week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Corey Rose.
And I'm Lawrence Cafidi, filling in for Jordan Chavez. Let's send things on over to Katie LaSalle, who's tracking those cooler and wetter temperatures this week.
Good morning, you guys. Jordan is probably going to very much enjoy his day off with this fall-like weather. It's mostly cloudy skies this morning. Some areas of fog over portions of the plains. Drizzle, so you may find some limited visibility up over I-76 heading out to Julesburg and over portions of I-70. But for the most part here over the metro area, just pretty cool and cloudy. Some areas of drizzle, but the main event in terms of more rainfall will arrive later on today. Still giving you a live picture of our radar here across Colorado. Cloud coverage here in town, some light sprinkle activity off to our west over northwestern Colorado. Have been picking up some areas of moisture, an isolated storm, and more of that storm activity will linger here into our central mountains and then move across the plains later on. But right now we're seeing those temperatures in the high 50s and low 60s, and you can see not a big warm up ahead for today. So we get a break from the big heat we experienced late last week. Highs will only be in the low 70s. Best chance for seeing some moisture arrive mainly after 2 p.m. It's going to be a cool end to the month of August. It is the 25th, and if we do hit 72 degrees, which is our expected high, that would be our coolest day we've seen here in Denver since June 8th. Typically this time of the year, Denver sees highs in the upper 80s, but we are expecting highs only in the 70s through the majority of this week. So for today, 72 the high, scattered storms and showers. I'll break down the extended future cast, exactly where we're expecting to see the wet weather, if it's going to be impacting your neighborhood through this afternoon, with storm chances lingering through the rest of the week coming up.
Katie, thank you so much. 7:02 is your time for this Monday morning. For those heading out the door, we're still keeping an eye on this crash for those taking 225 and Alameda. So you can see we have crews on scene blocking that left shoulder, and 2 vehicles are involved in this crash. It happened about 45 minutes ago, and we're still seeing some lingering delays on those left shoulders. So I do want to switch things over to our main maps, kind of show you those P10s that I'm clocking right now. So 29 miles per hour, and we have the red line if you're taking northbound I-225 heading up to I-70. Again, that left shoulder is partially blocked. Overall, pretty quiet across the Denver metro area. We're seeing our usual morning rush hour traffic, and that is the only crash that I'm tracking. So for those taking southbound 225 heading to I-25 this morning, no crashes to report in that area. Pockets of slowdown right near Yosemite DTC Boulevard heading into I-25. You're looking at a 17-minute drive, and speed times clocking in at 40 miles per hour.
Thank you so much, Brianna. New this morning, Denver police searching for a missing senior. 83-year-old Marvin Burton was last seen yesterday in a blue 1970 VW bus. He was last seen in the Green Valley Ranch neighborhood in the area of North Flanders Street and East Dunkirk Way. Marvin is 5'8", 155 pounds, with gray hair and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a pink hat with a black pom-pom, black leggings, and a navy blue jacket and white tennis shoes. He has diminished cognitive abilities. If you do see him, call Denver Police. That number is 720-913-2000.
Overnight, one person was hurt after a shooting in Northglenn. It happened just after 10 o'clock. Northglenn police say they found a man with a gunshot wound inside a business near I-25 and 104th Avenue. Police say 2 suspects fled the scene. There was a large search overnight, but it was over by the time our crews arrived in the 4 o'clock hour. The victim has serious injuries, according to police. No arrests have been reported. Police say there is no threat to the public. Several bills are being sent to the governor's desk after lawmakers worked through a special session this weekend, and one of those bills is a backup plan to cover Medicaid reimbursements for Planned Parenthood. 9 News reporter Courtney Yoon joins us live from the state capitol now. Courtney, Colorado Democrats say this bill will let them continue care the federal government no longer wants to pay for.
Yes, that's right, Corey and Lauren. Planned Parenthood of the Rocky Mountains says they see 11,000 Medicaid patients each year here in Colorado. For about 5,000 of those patients, Planned Parenthood is their primary care provider. They provide health care services, everything from birth control to STI treatment. Back in July, the federal spending bill signed by President Trump ended Medicaid payments to Planned Parenthood. This bill would allow state funding to cover Medicaid reimbursements at Planned Parenthood that were were previously done on a federal level. Yesterday afternoon, House lawmakers voted 43-19 for the bill, sending it to the governor's desk. State Rep Jenny Wilford is one of the bill's sponsors. She says Planned Parenthood is a critical part of the healthcare infrastructure, but not everyone agrees. State Rep Brandy Bradley voted no on the bill, saying their task was to trim fat off of a big budget, not spend more money.
We need funding to keep these healthcare centers open and floating above the red line. And by giving $4 million to $1 billion industry, is telling the people of Colorado that we're just not making the cuts that we need, and we're not providing services to the people that really need them.
I ran this bill because when I had started and taken my first job and didn't have health care, I went to Planned Parenthood for a physical, for birth control, as well as other screenings that were just really important that I needed access to.
And right now, this issue is tied up in the courts, and there's a preliminary injunction in place, and this money cannot be used until that injunction is eliminated. The money would go only to reimburse Planned Parenthood for health care services, not for abortions. And coming up in just an hour at 8 o'clock, we'll hear from Planned Parenthood and why they say patients should not be turned away from care. Live in Denver, Courtney Yoon, 9 News.
Today, the Denver City Council will look at a proposal to increase transparency when it comes to non-monetary legal settlements made by the Department of Public Safety. That would include Denver Police and the Denver Sheriff. A non-monetary settlement is when both parties agree to terms without a direct cash payment. Instead, the agreement addresses underlying issues in the case. Until now, there has not been a formal policy or ordinance requiring the disclosure of non-monetary settlements. If it passes, the ordinance would require these kinds of settlements to be disclosed to the Office of the Independent Monitor and the Citizen Oversight Board.
Today, Adams County will host a town hall for resident concerns. Commissioners are asking people to bring questions, concerns, and ideas that matter most to the community. The county is encouraging people to bring up topics like roads, access to health and human services, safety, or housing. You can go in person, or there is an online live stream you can join. Space is limited, so an RSVP ahead of time is highly encouraged.
New this morning, we are learning more about the brand new sports complex planned for Sterling Ranch. According to our partners at the Denver Gazette, the complex, Zebulon, could cost up to $85 million for just the first phase. Supporters of Zebulon say it would provide the area with a much-needed recreational complex, but critics worry about an increase in traffic, water sustainability, wildlife, and fire risks. The project is slated to break ground later this year. The first phase of Zebulon is set to include an indoor sports complex with 3 ice rinks and basketball courts, a soccer complex, and a baseball complex. It also preserves 400 acres of open space.